It must be understood Scrooge was quite dead. He was as dead as a dodo, and this you must remember, else nothing remarkable can come from this tale.
Do you understand light that is coming down, showering earth, and every town is in love? Do we realize ourselves in this life to release our souls and separate time is love? Love shower over me now, give me final power. Let us seek our shame and new disciples come. Love shower over me now. So let us examine through our lives what we have accomplished in our times was love. Let us reach out what we can see, and maybe this time we may believe it is love. Love shower over me now, letting love shower. Love shine over me now, with seeds of life to flower. Love shine over me now. Love shine over me. Love shine over me.
Sweeten your chimney, sir. Sweeten your chimney.
Mummy muffins, 2 pence.
Only 2 pence.
Ready?
Please, sir.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Breeder Seagull here. We're outside the notorious Scrooge and Marley, waiting for the arrival of London's most well-known miser. Let's ask some members of the public what they think of Mr. Scrooge. Good morning, madam.
Oh, good morning, dear.
Have you heard of Mr. Scrooge?
Oh, I should say so. Everyone round here has tough-fisted old so-and-so.
So you don't like him very much, then?
Oh, too right. He's always grumbling. He nearly knocked me down last week.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, sir.
I say, did I do all right? I did it just like that lady with that clipboard over there told me to do. Can I do my song now?
I'm afraid not. We don't have time this morning. And now, sir, could you tell me what you think of Mr. Scrooge?
Really marvellous, that is. I did what they asked me, made it look spontaneous like. I've done it, I've got a lovely voice. They let me sing on That's Life. High like a hill.
Oi, come here, you.
Anyway, you were saying...
I've actually never met the man, so it would be wrong for me to comment.
Just say what you were told to say, otherwise you won't get paid.
Well, he is a very mean and brutal man. Last week I tried to get him to donate a small sum of money...
It's a fix, I tell you, it's a fix! Stop!
to a highly reputable charity, and he refused.
Thank you. I believe, in fact, Mr. Scrooge is making his way to the shop. Let's try and catch up with him. Mr. Scrooge, how do you react to the allegations that you're mean and a miserly individual?
I don't react. Is this what you waste our licence fee money on? This kind of tittle-tattle?
It's not exactly tittle-tattle. You did refuse to give money to a reputable charity only last week.
How I spend my money is my affair. And anyway, let me tell you something about that charity. I did some investigating of my own, and it so happens that the money has been consistently embezzled for the last 10 years. And if you don't clear the entrance, I'll call the Metropolitan Constabulary.
Mr. Scrooge, open the door. It's no good, Mr. Scrooge.
Go away.
But my cable's stuck.
Stupid journalists can't even research a documentary properly. Mean and miserly indeed. Whatever next?
It's not exactly wrong, though, is it, Scrooge? You were supposed to have changed your ways, and instead of that you've sacked your assistant on his birthday, for God's sake, and you increased the interest rates of your clients.
Oh, it's you, Jacob. I thought I'd got rid of you, and all those silly apparitions. What do you want now?
It's about bloody time you showed us some respect for a start. You don't respect anything. Promises, people, animals. Your environment is positively suffocating. But of course, he who does not respect himself cannot respect others.
That's enough. I've had enough of you, bloody pest. You'd think that dying would have shut you up.
Touched a nerve there, I think.
Get out. Do you hear me? Out.
It's no good, Scrooge. You can't get rid of me that easily.
Oh no? A good gust of wind is all it will take. Or even better, a vacuum. Right.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Rita Sickle here again, your on-the-spot reporter. Just to give you an update, Scrooge, the meanest man in the known world, has just tripped and knocked his head. He's thought to be pitiful. I mean critical. I have an on-the-spot witness who was on the spot and saw what happened. Can you tell me what happened?
Well, our camera stuff was left in the doorway because Scrooge wouldn't open the door and a very important cable was stuck in it. It's the important cable, the extra long one. We haven't got many of those.
Yes.
We'd just gone off for a tea break when I looked round and saw the accident. Scrooge seemed to be lying flat out. It was as though he was dead to the world.
Don't you sing it now. Don't you let yourself go free. Why should we feel sad tonight? Don't you pray now, and don't you let yourself get off the hook. Oh yeah, yeah. We pray for the moment's light. That's the line, you know it. You may pray, but no stones. Why won't you let us alone? Freedom comes to those who want it, and I know that I ain't. Oh yeah. Why should we feel sad tonight? Come on now, why should we feel sad tonight? Why should we feel sad tonight? Why should we feel the pain that others won't? Why should we feel sad tonight?
Where am I?
You're dead, Scrooge. It's about time you died. We've been waiting to get our hand on you for ages. Now you can see all the misery you and people like you have caused.
The interviewer. But where's Marley?
Marley? Oh, you don't want to see Marley, do you?
You changed your voice. Yes, I'd like to see Marley, imbecile.
Fair enough then. Here, read this.
What is it? The stage directions?
For those listening at home.
The great pop act.
Go on then. Read it.
No.
Out loud.
The interviewer takes off her glasses, parts her hair the other way, removes her wig to reveal exactly the same hair underneath, and takes her paper. Dramatic chord as this goes. Oh, I see. Yes. Well, go on then. Where's Marley?
I am Marley.
Let me see. You don't look a bit like her. But come to think of it, without the wig.
I'm a bloody ghost. I can look like anything I want.
And you chose to look like that? Oh.
Don't be impertinent. I am Marley.
I don't think you look like her. Wait a minute, there's another bit here. The interviewer then parts her hair the other way. Scrooge suddenly recognised... Oh, that's me, yes, of course. Good God, it is you. You haven't changed a bit.
I've never had a side parting. Look, now to business.
You mean to say you engineered all of this just to kill me?
No, your dying was a complete accident. If that fool of an interviewer hadn't got her cord stuck, well, I look just like her, to save having an extra member of cast. As you are here, however, you can be of some use.
You mean this wasn't all done for my benefit? Oh.
Of course not. There are much more important things to get on with. We have to save the world.
Who from?
Ourselves. Well, yourselves. The level of abuse this world can tolerate is way past. If humans can't take part in the structure of things properly, then they won't take part at all. It's your bloody-minded attitudes that are typical of why nothing can ever get done around here. Look, there are three groups, broadly speaking, of people. Those individuals that seek to control everybody else, that's your type, the mediocrities. You know, those that can only feel strong by pissing everyone else off.
Oh my, your language is definitely not improved.
I kept it up in a place called Step Newington. Anyway.
Three types?
Oh, yes. Those that want to be unique in their own right and are not interested in telling people what to do.
There can't be many of them around.
Too right. They make up a tiny population. Theoretical scientists, writers. etc. A few people who only gain notoriety, if at all, after they've died, and nobody really listens to their ideas about the world, so they're no bloody use. Finally, and most importantly...
Look, is this speech going to take much longer? I do have things to do, you know.
Who's that? Oh, no. One of those infernal apparitions.
The most useless lot of all.
Well, answer me, rude individual.
Hang on a minute, I'm just finishing my bit. You'll have your chance in a minute. Honestly, people are so impatient. It's not as if time means anything to a ghost.
Joe, no, I'm not going through all that again.
Oh, do get on.
Now, the largest body of humanity is made up of people...
Hello? Am I invisible? Can anybody hear me?
Stop being facetious! You're being trained to do my job. Now pay attention. Most humans do worse than nothing. They fritter their time on silly TV shows, or worst of all, write them, go to work, and lots of others spend their time stuck in a poverty trap, and some of those seek simplistic solutions in religion and revolution, and no one spends much time on the real questions. But then why should they? Because no one else does, and it takes too much time, and it doesn't achieve anything, and there's a basic feeling of impotence, which is why no one gives a damn, and they go to rock concerts or vote for inadequate politicians, thereby continuing the downward spiral. But what can anyone do? I mean, then what's the use of it all? And it's all a complete waste of time.
That was a long speech. What were you doing?
I'm hyperventilating. Now, do you see why I want to get out of this job and become a proper ghost instead of a messenger? Anyway, the hours are better. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoy filling my shoes. I'm off to be a real ghost. Woo!
Goodness, what's that?
Oh, it's my replacement flare.
It's a handheld torch.
Stupid idea, really. But then I suppose one has to move with the times. Originally, the light came out the top of my head, which was a pain when I went to the cinema. It could be put out, of course, but that gives me a terrible headache. If you remember, I had to show you around your rather dull past, with moments in your youth that would shape your entire future. However, this time will be much more interesting. Since we stopped our personal service to individuals, I get into trouble with the other one, things have livened up immensely. So you're Marley's replacement. Good. Boring old ass. I suppose she'll get my job now, just as things were starting to get interesting. Anyway, off we go.
Oh, this looks fascinating.
Now, this is important.
Oh, yes?
Yes. Here we have a typical mundane Christmas. This is the reason that the season has become increasingly less important.
Forgive me for asking, but if mankind has no hope, and most people don't believe in God and so on...
No hope. Another nihilist. Look, our job is not to give hope, it's to try and turn things around a bit. Well, we might as well start with Christmas.
But billions of people don't even celebrate the festival. Several million can't.
Very true, but the somewhat unimpressive Western minority do still have quite a lot of power. Don't ask me why, that's just the way it is. Most of this lot just see Christmas as a rather ordinary holiday at the end of the year. Our job is to turn this lot away from the point of view of it simply being a time to see lots of repeats on TV, and instead think about the wider implications of life, the universe, and everything.
But why Christmas?
Because it's just at the end of the year, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. I know what you're going to say. Lots of other places have different New Years. But I have one simple answer as far as you're concerned with all of that.
Oh, yes?
Do you know Cantonese, Hindi, Arabic? Do you have an in-depth knowledge of any of the various customs involved? No? So there we are.
What are you looking for, a World Service reporter? I could learn.
We don't have time. Anyway, all of those other issues are being attended to.
I thought time didn't mean anything to a ghost.
It doesn't. However, time does have some meaning to humans. Shall we get on?
Hurry up, Sally. The King's speech is on in a minute.
Sorry, Dad.
Ah, here's the punch.
Careful, it's hot.
afternoon. This is the British Broadcasting Service. The time is 1500 hours, Greenwich Mean Time. Now the Christmas message from King George VI.
Good evening.
When I get old and losing my health, many years from now, you'll be sending me a ballad high, birthday of one. If I'm here now till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me? Till I'm 64.
It is in times like this when we all must pull together, try to, well, do the effort together.
You did that, didn't you?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I just love doing that.
You're not supposed to do things like that. You're certainly not the ghost of Christmas past I remember.
Well, times change. You have to adapt. I can honestly say that I have more fun these days. Anyway, best get on.
Hang on a minute, what was that all about?
Beats me. I'm just here following my brief. It says, show him round lots of previous scenes of Christmas and be gentle with him as he is totally unfamiliar with the way the world has changed. That's a point. Why aren't you more surprised by all this weird and wonderful technology and whatnot?
And not with you lot. Let's face it, nothing makes sense. It's a bit pointless being shocked at all the things you're going to show me. I'd end up with a permanently fixed look of horror, like this.
Better thoughts, just carry on being nonchalant.
Hey, there's nothing on this paper. You're making it up as you go along.
Bit of poetic license. Do you want to take all the fun out of the job? When you've been doing this as long as I have, you're bound to get a bit flippant.
How long is that exactly?
That's a good question.
Oh no.
What is it?
Oh, it's just that I thought you were about to burst into song or something.
Don't be ridiculous. The song comes later.
Where are we now?
Well, you wanted to know how long I've been around.
Sounded awfully like a dinosaur to me.
Don't be silly. How could you possibly know of such things?
I'm not quite sure. I think I read it in a book. Marley gave it to me. Apparently it's a better device than the stage direction nonsense.
Sounds exceedingly fishy to me. Still, you're right, actually. We've come a bit further than we should have done.
Good, for a moment there, I thought you were going to suggest that dinosaurs celebrated Christmas.
Of course they didn't.
At last, some sense in this ridiculous scenario.
Christ hadn't been born yet. How could they have celebrated his birth?
Well, I met this bird down the pub last year.
And did you do it?
It's nice to know war changes very little.
I thought you said you were going to show me when you first popped onto the scene.
Well, it's very boring really, and we haven't got time. Now, I have brought you to 2 scenes from the largest wars in the 20th century. I hope you're taking notes, because I'll be asking questions later.
And what is the point you are trying to teach me, oh great sage?
Well, I am endeavouring to show you that even in these terrible times, people thought more deeply about the world and their place in it at this time of year.
Well, they were bound to, weren't they? If times were so bad, they could hardly avoid looking at the human condition in a more penetrating manner.
So the answer is?
To have another great big war and clear off the excess population.
Yes, that's right! No, hang on a minute. There's something wrong with that scenario. Look, when things get really, really, really bad, no one has the ability to focus on the deeper questions of life.
Oh, a blank projection screen. How interesting.
Example 1.
Hang on a minute. Blast, where is that book? God, it's not in here. Ah, the script. Give it here. Pictures flash onto the screen of a man being dragged from his bed by 2 Russian KGB officers. Oh, yes. He is pushed down the stairs whilst his wife is screaming and a child is crying. The film has no sound. Yes, what a great idea, having a silent film for an audio production. The film follows the car shooting off down the road and then follows the man being dragged into a room, passing a picture of Stalin.
When things are so awful, it is no longer possible to be anything other than a product of your environment. Survival of the basest level dominates your existence. More examples, please.
Right. Pictures of people starving in various countries, which are then followed by some tortured political prisoners.
Has anyone the gall or the right to ask a starving person to think about the universal implications of man's futile existence, when all that person can think of at the time is to preserve that said existence? And what of those undergoing extreme mental and physical pain?
I don't know. What of those undergoing extreme mental and physical pain?
What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I thought it was a little joke.
Due to some terrifyingly absurd and mediocre regime, am I to suggest to them that humanity has no place in this world at this time? There are people suffering pain for so many different reasons.
The film is now showing miserable people in workhouses and various scenes, I contributed to this bit, of Victorian degradation.
Unalterable and frightening pain. How many have the opportunity to evade the tortures of their situation and consider humanity as a whole?
Will you be wanting to haul for much longer? Only I'll be needing to lock it up soon.
In a minute, just have to finish off.
That was some speech.
I thought so.
The fact is that people do, don't they? They do question their lives and think of humanity in those situations.
Do they indeed?
Anyway, I met this girl in a tavern last week.
So, did you do it then?
Unfortunately, yes. How else do you think I acquired this rather attractive boil?
Where?
Here.
Wow, that's what I call style.
Antonio!
Bloody hell. Well, I'll be seeing you, Fred.
Oh, do tell me what I'm supposed to learn from this. We seem to have arrived in some sort of unreconstructed 1970s carry-on style plague sitcom.
Mind where you're going.
Antonio, come back to bed with me.
Well, why not? I can't live forever.
Men.
I rest my case.
You're not celibate by any chance?
Well, of course I am. I'm a ghost.
Where are we anyway?
Florence, mid-50s, 1150s.
But everyone's speaking English.
Well, how else can I understand them?
Typical xenophobic ghost. Oh, it's gone. Well, come on, I can't hang around here all day. My bloody coat's on fire! So it's you. Next time, could you land a little further away from my garments, especially the ones I'm wearing? Well, you haven't changed much.
Au contraire. Do you think I go around looking like Brian Blessed all the time?
Brian who?
It's in this book.
Not another one. I'll end up looking like a mobile library. Right, hang on. Brian Blessed, a huge mountain of an actor, often cast in the parts of Shakespearean kings and the Ghost of Christmas Present. NB, often travels with a huge roaring hearth and carries an enormous scimitar. So that's what they're calling it these days.
And here I am, ladies and gentlemen, with my very special guest, Scrooge, in an all-time Christmas charity extravaganza. Well, that's enough of that. You have to excuse my boss's so-called sense of humor. They thought it would be really funny if I became a game show host. Still, I don't have to conform completely. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do.
Is this performance going to go on much longer? Why don't you take it in turn?
What? What?
You obviously have some kind of personality disorder. Not dissimilar to the author of this piece. Just choose which character you're going to start off with and then take it in turn. At least that way we can get on.
All right then.
Great, a schizophrenic ghost. What next?
Well, now I'm going to show you exactly what this time of year means to lots of people around the 20th century.
Oh, good-o. Well, off we go then.
And if you get this question right, you'll have the chance to win a Reliant Robin.
And they say I'm out of touch with reality.
You want the best for your family? Only the best will get your family's clothes Snow White. You want the best for your family? Only the best will get your family's clothes snow white.
Are you all right, Mum?
Fine, dear. I think I'll just go and sit down in the front room for a bit.
I want it!
No, I want it!
Will you give it a rest, you two?
What about me?
Shut up, all of you!
Well, this looks like a barrel of laughs. I think I prefer the way I kept Christmas, quite honestly.
Shh, keep watching.
Hang on a minute, that old lady slipped into a coma.
No, I haven't.
Oh, good grief, you haven't died, have you?
Yes, and I'm glad I wasn't a Christian. I'd have been very disappointed.
I know how you feel.
Oh, I'm sorry about this, Jack. Maybe I should have made the Christmas punch a little weaker.
I don't understand it. This always happens whenever they get into that same subject.
Still, look on the bright side. They came to blows last year. At least that hasn't happened.
The night is still young. Look, you'd better go and see Mary.
Why do you keep spoiling Christmas year after year? For God's sake, the party happened 10 years ago. Why do you have to keep bringing it up?
She's totally insensitive. You always take her side because you fancy her.
Look, that was just a joke. I don't know why you keep taking that wife-swapping idea so seriously.
This is really getting out of hand.
It's not fair. I'm going to see what Granny thinks. What do you think, Granny? Granny? Granny?
Little brat, have some respect. I may be dead, but you don't have to shake my teeth out to make sure.
What's the matter with Granny? I want to know who that funny lady is on TV, because I reckon it's Dot out of EastEnders.
You'd better go and play upstairs.
Oh no, I don't want
Oh,
please, don't.
After
Oh,
time.
yes,
Why
I
can't we
would
have a
run
nice
you.
quiet Christmas for
Stay
once
out
in
of
our
this,
lives?
Jack.
It
Stay
happened
out
so
of
bloody
this,
long
Jack.
ago. What's he done?
He married her.
Excuse me, but I think your mother has died.
But she'd been dead for 6 hours, and you only noticed half an hour ago.
My husband and I were arguing.
What?
Oh, you see, it all started 10 years ago at this party. I had spent a fortune on this dress, and then she arrived.
That's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. Who knew Christmas could be such a giggle?
You won't get very far in this job with that kind of an attitude.
No, you're right, of course.
Lucky I intervened when I did. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have noticed her for a couple of days. They may have even killed each other beforehand.
Not more corpses. There are enough of us up here already.
Quite.
Would you mind not talking about me as if I'm dead?
That was very impressive, though. I mean, the way you made your presence felt.
Well, we're not supposed to do it, really, unless there's an emergency. But we do have to get on. Anyway, ghosts of Christmas past don't have that power, and of course ghosts of the future have even greater power. Still, this hardly relates to your present position. You've got eons to go before you're given such responsibility. Considering your propensity for vulgar humor, I think that's rather fortunate. And you never know, you could end up with our pathetic consolation prize, the cuddly toy. Oh, shut up.
Unlike you, who of course is completely stable. I've always felt power is only given to loonies.
Anyway, the next image may not be so easy to laugh off.
Hang on, what about me?
Scrooge?
Oh, sorry, yes. A depressing geriatric ward in one of the more dilapidated Victorian hospitals. A small ray of gloomy light pierces the dark ward. An old man lies in bed, his last few coughs and wheezes filling the air as a young nurse stands over his bed watching. She rushes up to a doctor who is passing the ward.
Oh, Doctor, Mr. Thomas is dying.
The doctor stops.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, there's not really much we can do. I checked him over this morning. Just stay with him, nurse. I'll be along in a few minutes. I'm sorry I got held up.
The doctor looks down at the corpse.
Will you shut up? You are ruining the atmosphere of this scene.
I didn't know there was any. Oh, all right.
I'm sorry. I got held up. Too late, I see. Does he have any relatives who need to be notified?
No, he was alone. I'll go and get some help before I go.
Scrooge?
I'm not going to. Sorry.
Oh well, cut to the next scene with dialogue.
Is that you, Susan?
Yes.
Hard day at work, dear.
Today I watched an old man die. He had no relatives, no one to care for him. Even that bitch of a doctor didn't attempt to get there on time to try and help the poor old sod.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's awful. Had he been there long?
He was brought in 3 days ago. I'm fed up with being on that ward. All I ever do is watch people die. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I really don't.
Surely you're there to try and comfort them.
I don't want to just comfort them. I want to help them. I thought as a nurse I could help. But all I seem to do is watch people suffer.
But if there's nothing to be done, what else can you do?
Or you're just as bad as that effing doctor.
No, I just don't see what you think can be done. There's a point, surely, when people are beyond help.
I just don't believe that. I mean, what if we all took that attitude with everything in life? I don't believe there is nothing that can be done. You should see this ward. People are just left there to die. I hope to God I never end up having to die in a place like that.
Look, you're tired and you're depressed, and I understand your feeling of helplessness, but you can't blame the doctor or the hospital for not having some sort of miracle cure. Old people die. All you can do is to try and ease the pain.
Well, that's just it. I can't ease their pain. I can't even make them feel more comfortable in that ward. I have to get out of there and find an area where at least I feel I can make a difference.
If you ask me, that just sounds like you're running away. That's not like you to give up in this way.
Oh, what do you know? Oh, for Christ's sake, you write advertisements for washing powder. You have no idea what some people have to go through.
Oh, like you, I suppose.
No! Like those poor wretches who end up in that ward with no family, no friends, nothing.
Has it occurred to you that other people may feel just as angry about it? Maybe that doctor, for instance, only they don't just go on about it, they actually try and do something. You're a nurse, big deal, wonderful. You're in a profession that is about helping people, but that doesn't give you the right to just slag off everybody else. You're not the only person in the whole world who gets upset about these things. We all try and do what little we can.
Where are you going?
Out!
Merry Christmas.
Hello?
Oh, hi, Sheila. It's Susan. Is John with you? Yes, we had an argument, you see. Oh, yes, I know. Surprise, surprise. The thing is, he's been gone ages. Well, I just thought he might have gone round to see you. No? Well, okay. Well, if he does, will you get him to call me? Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Miss Everett?
Yes?
I believe that you live with a man named Jonathan Hayes.
Yes. Oh, please come in. Has something happened to him?
I'm afraid so. Mr. Hayes has been very badly assaulted.
Oh, God.
No, he's no longer critical, but he will be in intensive care.
Oh, Jesus, what happened?
He was mugged late this evening, just as he was coming out of Kentish Town tube station. He was able to give us quite a good description of the attackers, and somehow he managed to get hold of the knife.
What?
Your partner's a very lucky man, Miss Everett. He was quite severely stabbed, but fortunately he is out of immediate danger. I expect you'd like to see him.
Oh, yes, let me get my coat.
Hi, darling. Have you come to take care of me?
Oh, God. Oh, my darling. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, please believe me, I'm so sorry.
So you should be. Such a display in front of a police officer. At least now we won't have to argue about how we're spending Christmas Day.
Hang on a minute, what was the point of that?
I don't know, I'm just here as your host. I don't get to choose the scenes of Christmas.
You don't know?
Well, I suppose it's something to do with understanding that Christmas doesn't mean a great deal today.
What, those two little scenes? That's hardly evidence.
Well, I still have a little more to show you.
And in scenes that would cost far too much in the way of Parthé news hire, the Ghost of Christmas Present proceeded to show Scrooge what a miserable time...
Hey, where did you come from? Oh!
Christmas was for everybody. Well, all right, a lot of people. But because we thought this was far too depressing, lots of wars and death and so on, and the fact that we're strayed from the story a bit, here's a song instead.
Aww.
your conscience be your guide. Within the grief you shall display the little pity you give away. So let's examine, if just a part, the love that which resides within our. Throughout all men's resources lay, nature's honor I give to you. In time we'll find, beseech to us the healing power we must accept in trust. We must accept in trust. We must accept in trust. Oh yeah. Well, wish upon a star. May heaven and hell be your guide. Then you wish upon a star. And in death may you find no surprise, but you wish upon a star. So let's pagan a poor man's desire, forsake this futile star. Still undiscovered who we are. If your conscience be your guide, oh yeah, I said, wish upon a star. I was praying to your God above. You wish upon a star, yeah. In a child who believe you were lost, wish upon a star. What your heaven and hell may provide, forsaken you our star. Still undiscovered who we are. If you're going to be your guide, oh, wish upon a star. I was praying to your God above. Wish upon a star. In a child who believed you had lost me. Wish upon a star. What your heaven and hell they provide, forsaken to our star. Still undiscovered who you are. If your conscience be your guide, oh yeah, oh say, oh yeah. Wish upon a star, well wish upon a star, wish upon a star, wish upon a star, well wish upon a star, well wish upon a star, wish upon a star,
Oh, great. This freezing graveyard again. Well, at least I'm dressed for it this time. Now what? So there you are. I suppose you're not going to talk to me as usual? I must say, I don't think your costume is much of an improvement. A huge granite fist. Very original. The monolith out of 2001. Look, if you're not going to be serious, I mean, what's wrong with the hooded monk get-up? No, on second thoughts, I prefer the other one. Make up my mind? What do you mean I'm entitled to an opinion? All right, no need to stamp your fist. I know you're the spirit with the most power. I thought you ghosts were supposed to be distant and removed. Honestly, you're the tetchiest lot of ghosts I've ever met. I hope I don't get like you. I'm worse, you cheeky so-and-so. Come on, let's go. I'm getting cold. Now who's being tetchy? Look, ghost, am I going to have to say all your lines for you? I know you're not supposed to have a voice, but isn't there some way you could communicate? All right, I get the message. Just stop picking me up by the scruff of the neck. I'm not a kitten. Ooh! Oh, very funny. Oh, very nice. This is the future, is it? I can't wait till next Christmas. Look, do you think we might leave this delightful landscape? Charming. I don't need to be born in the 20th century to know what that gesture means. Look, how much more of this is there? I was never a fan of natural history. I was never a fan of anything. Yes, well, thanks very much. Hey, what are you doing here?
This is my day job. Now, folks, if you remember, before the break, Ainsley had to guess which major emperor of the 15th century was excommunicated most time by both popes. Now, Ainsley, take your time. Don't forget, it's your chance to win a trip to Mount Sinai with a free loaf of bread and 5 fishes and 500 guests of your own choosing.
Yeah, Emperor Charles IV.
Well, that's good enough for a moron.
Good grief. Some people here have no humility. Those two are... Bloody hell. Oh, right, I'm coming. Oh, lovely. An empty corridor. What's this? A radio. What happens if I twiddle this knob?
Some news just in. The former Republic of the Soviet Union has declared war on the Russian states. Northern Ireland has declared war on its previous neighbour, Era. Israel has declared war on Lebanon. Lebanon has declared war on Palestine, who have promptly declared war on themselves. Johannesburg has declared war on Cape Town. Barnet football team have declared war on Watford. Watford have declared war on the Scilly Isles, who have declared war on Norway. Norway? And the United States, who couldn't decide who to declare war on, have declared war on everybody else. China is to remain neutral, and the Swiss will pick up any survivors in those funny red and white trucks. Unfortunately, the truck drivers have declared a preemptive war on the survivors. There will now be a short, Jesus Christ, 4-minute warning.
It's dark here. I'll turn on the light for those of you at home. That's better. I think I'll have a look outside. What's going on? Look down there. Christ, we're above the earth. What's that huge sea creature thing? I'll look it up in the book. Ah, a blue whale. Are these creatures to inherit the world? In another time? Oh, there's some horrible grey stuff that's enveloping everything. What about my premises? Ugh, what in heaven's name are those things? Ah, termites. Horrible. I know what those rodents are. I hate rats. To replace that beautiful world with this. Who's to say this is not beautiful? Okay, so it is beautiful to see a natural resistance to that cancer that has devoured the land. Mankind and these creatures all have a place. Oh my God, I'm starting to sound like you now. But surely this is not all that life has to offer? I see now we have missed out our chance to learn from these creatures and to take our evolved place within this world. Good grief, that grey sludge looks just like me.
There was a beautifully formed brain.
Found your voice then.
Each part of the various ecosystems developing this ever-increasing thought process. People had a role, an important role they sought to squander in avarice and complete ignorance, the true gems they might have possessed.
But is there any hope at all for these pathetic, misguided creatures?
You were one once. Was there any hope for you?
Not another song. Oh, that's the trouble with musicals, there's too much music in them.
There'll be Christmas any other day than the 25th. There'll be Christmas any other day than the 25th. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give us Christmas rose. can but stay the same. When living all your lives in vain, you push past mortals such as you. But from your prison, this is the life you choose. Give me Christmas any other day than the 25th. Oh yeah, stand down. I give me Christmas any other day than the 25th. Oh yeah, yeah. Open minds and hear what I say. Hey, yeah. Not much time, great debts to repay. Bide your time with actions not insane. If you truly wish to remain, oh, all the money, cards and crap that stop your thoughts from soaring high and high and high. If you were the judge, what judgment be pronounced? Forsaking love or life, selling trinkets, selling gold, your mortgage, mind you sold, yeah. And then give me Christmas any other day than the 25th. Oh Lord, yeah, I said now give me Christmas any other day than the 25th. Oh Lord, yeah. Hit it, boys. I said foggy ghost, good God. I said now give me Christmas. Oh yeah, hit it, ooh yeah, yeah, I did. Give me that, give me everything I need. Give me everything you said. I said now give me that, give me what you need. I said now give me everything you got to be free, yeah.
Giant insects?
They are considerably more intelligent than humans.
So tell me, Dr. Tweel, this recently discovered planet, is there any truth to the rumours it may have been inhabited by intelligent life?
I can't understand it. Everywhere we go, people speak English.
None whatsoever. My colleague and I have examined the planet thoroughly and have found no such evidence. Being so small, we almost mistook it for an asteroid. However, it definitely is a planet, although the only thing we can think of to be done with it is to mark it as a danger to lost space vehicles.
So there you have it, the useless planet.
What are you pointing at now? Oh, lost your voice again, have you? What, this? It's just a lump of granite. Oh, there's something carved out here. Hurlis Homity. Hang on a minute. Sorry, can't read with my glasses. Here lies humanity, so full of promise, so full of unlimited expectations, but in the end so full of hit. Hit? Oh, I see shit. Oh, very eloquent. But what am I supposed to do?
You are here to polish the plaque. That's your job from now on. Goodbye.
You rotten! I've got to stay and look after this worthless danger to shipping. You've got me all worked up for this. I thought I was going to make a difference. I thought I had a chance to influence events.
You had your chance. And now past mortal, your destiny unfolds. You will see what you must do. And don't forget, don't get another chance to remind humanity of that.
Oh! What manner of apparition are you?
Now listen, mortal. You have but one chance to free yourself from the chains you and the whole of humanity have cast in your miserable, ill-spent lives. I'm getting the hang of this. It's quite fun.
Get on with it.
And there you have it. Mankind has no place on this earth, but may find a different role if they so choose, turning their back on their trivial, counterfeit kingdom on earth. As for me, I'm off to the pictures. Well, they didn't have cinema when I was alive. Cut to the last scene.
Do you understand light that is coming down, showering earth and every town is known? Do we realize ourselves in this life to release our souls and separate time is love shower over me now, give me final power. Let us seek our shame and you disciples come. Love shower over me now. So let us examine through our lives what we have accomplished in our time was low. Let us reach out what we can see, and maybe this time we may believe it lost.
A chance to sing! Yes! Here we go.
Love shine over me now.
This is my song. Hold on. Go away. Go away.
Now here we go.
goodbye from me.
And
it's goodbye from us.
Merry Christmas to you all. Chestnuts roasting in a... What is that line? Damn it.
So many words about another night, yet peace will reign, so we are told. And if it's true that hope may free the fight, was tucking into golden birds, and faith's enough for us, was Christmas light so dimming fast. I see a new age dawning. Let us greet with open arms. I feel the truth has passed us over, but on return will give us nothing but the answer that we know so fast. And when this age returns us, let's not ignore it, but our triviality will break our thought one final time. Some say the truth escapes us, some say our gods ignore us, but if you'll acknowledge that you're in decline, oh, like rushing by it burns you, but you'll see that there is nothing but the truth, and you restores this place, oh. Irrelevant to the season of goodwill, say many trying to make coherent words, but all I ask is that on these days we sing, a little thought be given to this world, for reminiscence is repetitive, there's little else we seem to do. Was making mistakes we made before our choice is made eternal. I feel that truth has passed us over, but on return will give us nothing but the answer that we know so fast. And when this age returns us, let's not ignore it, but our triviality will break our thought one final time. Some say the truth escapes us, some say our gods ignore us, but if you'll acknowledge that you're in decline, oh, like rushing by it burns you, but you will see that there is nothing but the truth, and you restores this place, oh. The truth is past is over, but on return will give us nothing but the answer that we know survives. And when this age returns us, let's not ignore it, but our triviality will break our thought one final time. Some say the truth escapes us, some say our gods ignore us, but if you'll acknowledge that you're in decline, oh, like rushing by it burns you, but you will see that there is nothing but